400 grams if you're a vegan is pretty astonishing. Hi everyone, it's Davey from Endlessly He Said. Today I'm going to talk about why I'm vegan. I wanted to talk about reasons I became vegan, when that happened, and how it happened. I know that this is a subject that's talked about quite a lot on YouTube, and there's a lot of vegan YouTubers that are really passionate about what they do. This is my personal journey, and I wanted to share it with everyone. I'd like to start with a quote, as many things will start with, and this is from the Gorilla Biscuits song, Cats and Dogs. The song has the lyric, "My true compassion is for all living things, and not just the ones that are cute, so I do what I can. I want to save lives, and I've got a plan." Gorilla Biscuits are a band that I've come into in the last 10 years, and they're a band that have been with me since I've become vegan and before. A band that have always been a vegetarian band, and they are all recently vegan as well. I got the chance to see them in Berlin and London, and it's been amazing watching that band, who were a really big inspiration for me, perform and sing that song as well. I have a tattoo of those lyrics and their big gorilla that's on the cover of so many of their records too. I came into veganism through the punk scene. I grew up listening to a lot of West Coast punk. That was who I was from the age of 9, 10, 11 up until who I am today. I listened to all kinds of music, but punk has always been my heart. I remember in 2003 when England and America decided to invade Iraq. I was on the streets protesting. I was 16. I was not happy. I was pretty pissed off, to be fair, and this is going back 13 years ago. I was at college and my friends and I took to the streets. We were cornered by police, asked what we were doing, and protesting became part of my identity. It became part of who I am. I guess most of you didn't come here to hear about a punk protesting, but that's how I got into it. My friend at the time dared me to go vegetarian. He said, "You eat so much McDonald's, you eat so much Greggs." Greggs is a pasty shop here in the UK that sells greasy, meaty, normally, pasties. I believe they have some vegetarian, maybe even some vegan options now. But at the time, definitely synonymous for sausage rolls. I took on the bet. The bet was for dinner, and I thought, I can win this, and then my friend will have to buy me meat for dinner. It was so easy. I was vegetarian for a whole month, didn't waver at all, thought it was strange, and I even, in the first week, stopped eating at McDonald's. I haven't eaten at McDonald's since then, and I definitely wouldn't be going back today. If vegans want to go to McDonald's and eat that, whatever they want to do. For me, what I ended up seeing was radical. I ended up watching a video called Meet Your Meat before YouTube even existed, and it was eye-opening watching how animals were treated in the places that they go to be killed for food, the places that they go to die. What was a big realization for me is that all of these animals that I'd grown up with in the countryside, looking at and loving and being able to feed as a small child, these animals were alive for one sole purpose, and that was to die and become food for people to eat. I was completely turned off with the idea of eating meat, and for me, that was the first step in a big journey towards where I'm at now, which is a vegan who has been vegan for nearly 10 years this year. I'm really proud of who I am and what I do, and I wouldn't have things any other way. I'm definitely not going back to being vegetarian. I'm definitely not going back to eating meat ever again. And for me, it's not just your diet, it's your lifestyle. This encompasses so many different things. The t-shirt I'm wearing today is an Earth Crisis t-shirt. Earth Crisis are a band that have been really important in my life, and Earth Crisis really champion veganism and animal liberation. I really started to turn on to them when I saw DAVEY HAVOK from the band AFI talk about Earth Crisis and talk about bands like Gorilla Biscuits and youth of today who were vegan and vegetarian, who had those morals and ethics emblazoned in the lyrics that they had. And for me, that was a turning point, that this person that I was looking up to was championing veganism. He was someone that saw it and saw how easy it could be to be vegan, and I wanted that. I wanted to be able to take that step further. When I was vegetarian, I ate a lot of animal product, which is very strange for someone that had given up meat to still be eating a lot of cheese, a lot of eggs, even a lot of honey. It was all over my food, and it seemed that when you make choices to take one thing out, you automatically look for the immediate replacement. When I went vegan, I radicalized the way that I was thinking about what I was eating. So it was no longer I had to eat meat and 2 vegetables and maybe drink some fruit juice. It was changing the way I was looking at food. It was fine to be snacking on loads of bananas in a day. It was fine to eat an entire bag of peanuts. I was exercising, I was feeling healthy. I later learned more about nutrition, and that's become part of my life too. I do think about what I eat. I'm getting older and I want to make sure I'm taking care of my body too. The one thing that really challenged me as a vegetarian to go vegan was a quote from the first video that I watched, Meet Your Meat, which was, if you support the dairy industry, you're supporting the veal industry. Well, those are quite abstract words, and to unpack those more, veal is the name that humans give to a baby male calf that is then put in a box, strung up by its neck traditionally, and left to die. That's something I couldn't be a part of. The idea that cows were being bred not only for meat, but they were constantly being raped and impregnated so that they would produce milk, so that then they would have their offspring that they would never get to meet and love, was heartbreaking. And for me, that was the big change. That was it. I couldn't do milk anymore. Eggs were a really big deal for me as well when I was a vegetarian. I ate a lot of omelettes. I still eat a lot of omelettes now as a vegan, but I use a vegan egg substitute. I love the taste of those foods, and I'm not saying that you're going to lose out on anything when you go vegan. When I wanted to go vegan, it was something that I was doing on my own. I was no longer at school or college in a new city, and I didn't know anyone else that was vegan. Fortunately, the internet was actually a really great tool to reach out to people. It had got to 2005, and I was really excited to be able to start to research these kind of things, to be able to look into how I could become a vegan. There was recipes online, there was different charities and different companies that would support you. I got in touch with Viva, they sent me a starter pack, had quotes from loads of different musicians that were vegan. My mind was blown as a kid in the UK at the time, only 17 or 18, looking into this and finding out that the people that are making all of the music that I like, a lot of them were vegan, or a lot of them were vegetarian, and a lot of them really cared about animals and animal rights as well. I went vegan over the month of October, and so in October in 2016, it'll be 10 years now. When I started going vegan, I thought the first thing I need to cut out is the thing that I'm eating the most of, so I cut out eggs. Factory farming is abhorrent, and I can't imagine anyone living in the space that's the size of a cardboard box for a human, and for a chicken to do that is okay at all. It was the factory farming element of eggs that really turned me off. I later learned what happened to male chicks, that they're killed at birth, whether that's through suffocation with CO2 or whether that's going through a grinder to be ground up and then used for animal feed. Eggs were a big no for me, and from the first week I cut them out. I started eating food that just didn't need them. I ate a lot more pasta, I ate dishes, and I started to get more creative. I remember buying my first block of tofu and thinking, what do I do with this? It was so alien to me, but it was really great to have support and really great to be able to look to online communities and slowly the people around me. I got in touch with local groups and I ended up volunteering at festivals and music shows with PETA, who at the time were a real help for me. I know now that they do some things that I'm not really keen on and I don't want to support in terms of kill shelters, but that's another story. They were great, and they were able to help me radicalize the voice that I had inside that I wanted to talk about compassion towards animals. The next week I cut out dairy. Dairy was a big no for me, so it was goodbye milk, goodbye butter, goodbye cheese. Those things were things that I just didn't need in my life, and I was able to replace really comfortably and really easily. You'd be so surprised how far we've come with modern technology advancing dairy replacement. I just today bought this, which is a 400-gram block of original Violife cheese. Violife is made from coconut oil and is amazing. It melts and stretches and tastes like dairy cheese, and I couldn't talk about this enough. 400 grams if you're a vegan is pretty astonishing because this normally comes in 200-gram sizes, so I feel like I might have to get a hookup with a caterer on this. But back in the day when I was first vegan, vegan cheese wasn't that great. For a long time I didn't really eat it, and I didn't really miss it. I changed the sauces in my food from cheese-based ones to tomato-based ones, and that was a really simple change to make. Dairy is not good for you. It clogs up your arteries, it helps contribute to heart disease, and not to mention the processes that it goes through can contribute to having pus and blood and even excrement in your dairy. It's not pleasant and it's not happy. I know that there are a lot of sources that would talk more about these things. I'm going to try and link as many things as I can below, whether that's a documentary or another YouTuber talking about different processes, and to give you more of a scientific insight if that's where you're coming from when you're looking at veganism. When I was going vegan, the last thing that I cut out was all of the things that are in my freezer and my fridge that contained animal products. In burgers and sausages and any kind of like frozen food, there were a lot of different options as a vegetarian, but there weren't so many as a vegan initially, so I was able to work out which things I could eat, how I could get them, were they available at supermarkets, and I got to travel somewhere specific to get these as well. It was quite easy initially, and so I took those out. I found myself eating a lot more pulses, beans, and peas and nuts, and anything that was rich in protein and really, really good for you as well. There's loads of iron in those kind of pulses and vegetables, and it was fantastic. I felt amazing. When I first went vegetarian, I actually lost some weight. I used to be quite a chubby kid, and that wasn't a real big motivator for me, but it felt good to be able to be comfortable in my own body. When I went vegan, I actually gained weight, but I felt so much more healthier. I felt like I was myself. I had energy that I never had before. I had a new lease of life. And I think that that's an amazing thing about veganism. So many people do it for health reasons, and that's okay too. If you want to be healthy and eat a vegan diet, do it. That's amazing. If you want to be vegan and it's your compassion that's triggering that for you, then please do it. When I went vegan first, I was 20, and I'll be 30 this year, so it'll be 10 years. And I lived at home for the first year of being vegan, and I moved out with some friends who were vegetarian, and we cooked a lot together. It was an amazing time, but being at home and living with your family, I understand, is very hard. I had to really make my own way as a grown-up and be prepared to buy my own food, contribute towards the bills that are coming in from me being vegan. I didn't want to be a burden on my parents, and I certainly didn't want to be kicked out on the street, and I wanted to be able to make sure that I could pave my own way with that. It was important to me that they saw that I was making an effort to be vegan, and it wasn't just me eating at home. You quickly become very aware of how much you're talking to people about veganism, and that's okay too. You can talk quite eloquently about veganism. I know during this video I've just been able to roll with it, and I've been really comfortable being able to talk about this subject. And if you ever meet me in person, I'm really happy to talk about this with you too. The main reasons for me being vegan are that I don't want to see an animal suffer unnecessarily. There's no reason an animal has to die for your food. Animals are sentient beings. They have thoughts and feelings just like humans do. This is something that being aware of different species in the world and treating a different species differently, I'd call it speciesism. And that's a word that's become quite common in the vegan community. We talk about how we want to further the world and we want to make it a better place. Eating meat and dairy products directly contributes to carbon emissions in the biggest possible way. If you've seen the film Cowspiracy, you'll know what I'm talking about. Keegan in particular has been an amazing inspiration for me as well, not only in veganism, but then looking at the wider picture about human rights, straight edge, and how we come to be who we really are. He was one of the people that I first came into contact as a new vegan, and I actually got to host him playing as True Nature. Being vegan is really important. It's an important way to live for me, and it's important to see the difference of how we're treating animals in the world. Our world is being destroyed slowly, and I think it's time that we actually looked at what we're doing and we made a positive change for that as well. It's really important when you're vegan to stay positive as well. I know that it's hard sometimes when you don't have the support in the world, and it's hard to be vegan and stay vegan sometimes because you have a lot of pressure on you. I think today more than ever, it's so easy to find the food and find the lifestyle and find the alternatives that are right for you. For me, I love junk food and I love eating a lot of different kind of fake meats and different kind of vegan cheeses and plant-based milks and different foods all over. But I just love eating broccoli all the same, and I love eating kale all the same. I'm someone that tries to eat a varied diet, tries to change it up, and tries to keep it happy and healthy. If you want any more advice on being vegan, or you feel you need any more support, there are a lot of people out there that can help you. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I know that YouTube is an interesting place to talk about things, and I'd love you to comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're vegan too, and I can help anything or support you with anything. It's been part of my life for the longest time, and I know right now veganism has seen a big kick, and it's something that a lot of people are talking about, with different celebrities being vegans, from Samuel L. Jackson to Joaquin Phoenix to still DAVEY HAVOK. It's a really important thing in the world, and I think it's great that there's so many people that are turning onto veganism and so many people that are taking on that lifestyle too. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you love it, and comment below in the comments section. I'm going to try and leave as many links as I can for things that have inspired me over the years, and try and keep you all supported as well. I'll do my best to reply to any questions, and if there's enough, I might make a Q&A video about veganism too. Thank you for watching. I've been Davey, and this is Endlessly He Said. See you next time.